in our Earth that will affect our ability to produce food. We saw with the floods in Mississippi that much of the food and the rice in particular and grain that's grown throughout the Mississippi was flooded, and now we have this huge increase of prices of grain and rice that will definitely affect us. If not right this second, it'll affect us in a couple months from now. So I definitely see a connection between food and the earth changes out there.
Oh, yeah, and it's going global. It hit Mexico. They had to come out with an act of God as it wiped out 80 to 100% of the crops. It happened in Australia. You had storm surge hit the Philippines, 46-foot high storm surge, and it just wiped out their rice crops. You got drought happening now in China, where that's affecting 35 million people. You got drought conditions in France right now. So you're getting droughts in some areas, hardcore, and mega rain. You know, I was just reading through a report on the earthworms coming up dead by the hundreds of thousands over there in Cincinnati. And you know, they get soaked out, man. They drown. You know, and then you got the bat populations. You got 5 bat populations going across 700 square miles that are dying from this white-nosed fungus. And these guys eat bugs. So, you know, you're setting we're getting set up for some serious bad news, you know, as far as bugs, as far as crop losses, and these superstorms, man, and spacequakes. You know, you had that spacequake that hit the PA area this week, and they've known about it. They've known about it for a long time. I had one person go, you know, hey, man, they only knew about Spacequakes since 2007, you know, because I put that UCLA article on Spacequakes out. But I also have the NASA link that has it going back all the way to 1998, you know, and they knew about it before that because the science and tech people, it was called Booms of Bell Holland. It's a video that's on YouTube. I put it in that video underneath. You had spacequakes hitting the entire East Coast back in the late 70s. It was the same time we were experiencing a double El Nino off the West Coast. And we got the same conditions again. And now they're getting the spacequakes again over on that side. Except this time we got a way worse scenario because the water temperature is colder. You know, this is a readjustment, man. It's going to get cold this winter for the lower states. Don't kid yourself. And man, you know, New Madrid has a history going in the winter. So, you know, I'm just like, wow, you get all this pressure and weight and, you know, all the dynamics are there. But with all the infrastructure that's been built since then, the poor drainage and everything, I see the earthquake happening more towards Kansas. And I believe that the oil drilling will offset the other things. You know, basically they set up a big old toxic tsunami bomb down there in the Gulf, man. 30,000 holes. The USGS called it the quantitative build, man. I mean, they have created themselves a spider web of fault zones down there. And they're just going to drill like crazy, man, because they know that everything underneath the 40th parallel is considered second world. It's only going to get worse from here, folks. And you're going to have permafrost melting. You got all kinds of sinkholes opening up now over there in Quebec. I think it's Charleston. And you're getting blowholes. I saw a blowhole in New York. You know, so, you know, this earth is expanding, it's widening. You know, you take Richard Guy's research where the land's actually stretching and pulling. And my research, you know, that it's pushing down and lifting up because it's causing a magma push. You know, and I told everybody, man, you know, the volcanic activity was going to go up 200 to 400%. It's up 380%. So, as far as this ocean floor sinking, it's doing that. And I could prove it very simply. You look off into the Bahamas right now, and you got islands sinking and one island that's rising. Yet that coast right there hasn't rose a centimeter. There is no sea level rise. It's ocean floor sinking, and as it pulls down this ocean floor, it pulls these islands down with it. and then it affects the piping systems underneath and causes a submarine volcano, so it starts lifting up islands as well. That's going to blow that sucker to heck. You know, but I mean, none of these islands are safe. You've had 2 or 3 islands off of India that are gone now. Newmore Island was one of them. But these islands are sinking globally. You know, and India got hit with a 4.9 quake today too. But you know, this is only going to get worse from here. You know, NASA said we're going to have over a foot of water released into the ocean. I mean, you think about that, man. That's like covering every square inch of the planet that's land over 2 feet high. This is a lot of water, folks. A lot of water. You know, if you want to take it biblically, man, you know, it's what happens before a woman, you know, gives birth. You know, her water breaks. Well, I'll tell you what, man, this earth's water's breaking. I'll just sit back tripping on it. But
wow.
They are making money hardcore behind the scenes on this. They're building these major underground facilities. They're building their seed vaults. They're doing all kinds of things behind the scenes. You know, I mean, and then you look at these FEMA coffins scattered all over the Midwest. You know, that's been there for years. You know, they thought it was going to be, you know, I remember when the N1H1 scare came out and everyone was making videos and stuff, and, you know, and they're pointing to those coffins that were sitting by the railroad side, you know. And I knew it was from New Madrid, you know, and I was just like watching them, you know. I think I did one video, and the one video I did had REX84, you know, all the FEMA camps that are all over the United States, and because people aren't even aware of them things. And, you know, hey, man, you could dress up a pig any way you want, man. It's still going to be a pig. You know, oh, it's for safety, it's for this, it's for that. Man, it's a pig. You know, you put pearls on it, put lipstick on it, do whatever you want to do, man. It's still a pig. And, you know, and then you got the mother of all harlots, man, in full control of this entire global system now. And it's the World Bank, the G20. And that's the biggest idol on the block. And man, she's controlling everything. She controls the IMF, all the international money funds, all the currencies are being run and controlled out of the World Bank. All your food stuff, that's your World Agricultural Committee. You know, that's Geneva, Switzerland. Everything's in Geneva, man. The hub of the New World Order. They have every organization there, man.
Are we going to see Scott?
From the United Nations to NATO to the World.
Are we going to see the believer? Are we going to see Scott and the Believers Underground all move to Geneva all of a sudden?
I don't think so. You know, unless it's in shackles.
Well, what about Denver?
Are they trying to get that dude? What's his name?
I don't know. But
WikiLeaks.
Yeah, Julian Assange. But what about Denver? Because people, we'll talk about this. We're coming up to a break. But people think that, you know, there's a huge underground facility in the Rockies there in Denver, and we know that the CIA just moved their headquarters to Denver. Chris and Sheree of Truth Frequency are reporting back to me all sorts of crazy things that they're witnessing out there. They just moved out there. Anyways, we'll talk about Denver. And is it a safe place to get away from some of the earth changes? All right, folks, that and so much more with Scott from the Believers Underground. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Stay asleep. Obey. When he looks at it with his eyes, it's what we see. When he looks at it with sunglasses, we're seeing the same things all the way through, the subliminal symbology you couldn't see. Obey, no independent thought, don't think for yourself.
All right, welcome back to the Bob Tuskin Show. We're joined with Scott from the Believers Underground. And we are taking some phone calls at 866-841-1065. The lines are open. Please take us up on the opportunity to speak with Scott. He's a wealth of information on earth changes and so much more. Again, that's toll-free, 866-841-1065. And I'll give out that number a little bit later in case you missed it. But Scott, let's jump right back into this because there's a lot going on as always. And before we talk about some of the things that we brought up last segment, let's take a phone call first, since we have a caller on the line. I'll go ahead and bring them right up and not have them wait any longer. We have Margie from New York on the line. Margie, welcome to the Bob Tuskin Show. How are you tonight?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
No problem. Great. What's on your mind?
I have a couple of questions. I think I'll ask the first one about Spacequakes. And is my laptop in the background a problem? Should I turn it off?
Yeah, well, it's a problem. I'll mute you real quick. Turn it off because it will confuse you, because you're going to hear a delay. So it's going to confuse you. You're going to hear yourself, and you're going to wonder, what the heck's going on here? Sometimes it confuses me. I have it on in the background, and then I can't host the show, and I end up sounding like a schmuck. So it'll definitely confuse you. So if you can turn it down, that'd be great. And yeah, Spacequakes, interesting concept. I heard nothing about Spacequakes until I came across Scott's work, and then he explained to me the whole Spacequake phenomena. Very interesting stuff. Margie, go right ahead. What's your questions?
Okay, well, I've experienced some small, what I think were Spacequakes, where there's like a boom and something's resonating through the air, and you can kind of feel it, but it's not as loud of a boom as what they just had, like in Pennsylvania, which did register as seismicity, I believe. So my question is, do you think, this is for Scott, do you think that it's a magnetic field anomaly, or are magnetic fields being interfered with by HAARP or something else, some other technology that we don't even know about? Is that possible?
All right, Scott, your thoughts?
Yeah, these spacequakes, they're happening. We're in orbital wobble. What happens is it's like taking a lead weight off a tire. You take that lead weight, these icebergs, and you move them somewhere else on the planet, because it's not a cup of water with ice cubes floating in it. There's no walling that wall of water to stay there. It comes down into the ocean. And so now these are water glaciers. And I mean, they're mega heavy. We're talking tens of trillions of tons of weight. And they're just like they sank all those continents up there 14,000 years ago, they're sinking the ocean floor now in these geo-unstable zones. But we've already had the Earth move, 3 3/4 inches after the Japan quake. We had it move 3 inches prior to that after the Chile quake or the Indonesia quake. So, it's already moving the Earth's axis. I mean, these are big quakes, man, huge quakes. And this water redistribution is just throwing the whole works off. And as it wobbles more, we're going to see more and more spacequakes. When you get more water in one location, it seems to send the spacequakes on the other side. That's why you're experiencing them on the East Coast now. I expect that you'll experience more and more of them over the coming months, probably in the hundreds. I've seen them as strong as 4.5 that hit San Diego. USGS just put a question mark on it and put sonic boom. It's almost like the NASA and USGS are keeping this information from people. And whenever I see that, man, I push the envelope on it. I make sure that information gets out in mainstream. Yeah. Because, this is our money. It's protected under Title 17, Section 106 of the Federal Register. If taxpayers are paying for these reports, then we get to see them.
I saw
so they can't stop me from throwing them up on YouTube.
I was just going to say, I saw the video on YouTube of you comparing the different readings and whatnot, and showing what the Spacequake looks like. And why they don't tell us about this, I don't know. What kind of a threat is this? For us to know about.
It's a big threat. Well, it caused a nuclear plant to go down.
That's true.
In PA, one of their nuclear facilities shut down.
Well, why keep this from us is the question. I mean, if it's such a threat, you would think they would alert us about it. But anyways, I don't know. Margie, any other questions?
Yeah. I guess what I really want to know is it possible that a magnetic field anomaly, disturbance, could occur from space, Like could a CME or, a strong enough solar flare or HAARP or something, could that also cause what sort of seems like arcing? I mean, these are smaller booms that I've heard.